I'm sorry, I was trying another way to start a video. If you've been seeing some of these, you've noticed that I'm trying to find a way to walk into the camera view. Okay, who cares? I do. I care, okay? Alright, today's topic I think is a good one. It's kind of funny. I mean, it's probably a lot of opinions on this, but I think it's a funny thing. And I'll give you my experience with it because that's what I do, and you know, that's what I do. Okay, class is off. Wait, class is on. Class is on. Okay, today's thing, you probably already know, is another installment in Pick Your Poison under my website name menu of Open Your Eyes, Teachings of Gabriel. That's me, Gabriel Kevin. How are you? Our website is GABRYELKEVYN.com, Gabriel with a Y, Kevin with a Y, and it's probably there somewhere typed. Today is one, I don't know, I thought of this and I thought, so let's do an episode on this. Man hair. That's right, man hair. Alright, what is he talking about? I'm talking about hair on a man, okay? Not the beard, okay? Yeah, scratchy. On the body, all over the body, on the back, okay? And I know varying men have varying degrees of hair. That's nature, genetics, whatever. Why women don't have hair in these parts, that's I don't even think that's been figured out in evolutionary thinking. If anybody studied anthropology, evolution, and I have, but I don't remember anywhere along the line since I've studied it where they explain why. First of all humans lost most of their hair if you evolved from hominids, apes. And women lost a lot, like they don't have it, except in certain parts. And that has not been explained from the evolutionary theory. What the hell does that have to do with anything? Nothing, I just digress and I thought I'd talk about it, so too bad. Okay, so if you know about that, put it in there. And it's kind of windy out here, so I'll try to talk louder. But it's a beautiful day. It's actually the second day of summer. Okay, man hair. Now, me. Of course, it's about me. Okay. I come from a family. My father was extremely hairy. Uncles were extremely hairy. I'm Italian on both sides of the family. And there's the breeze. And so I am hairy. How hairy? I know it's not hairy. How hairy? Pretty hairy. Like on the shoulders, you know, it would be puffed up here, puffed up here, puffed up on the shoulders. The back, hairy. Just legs, hairy. Okay. Everywhere else, hairy. Okay. Now, here's my whole thing. How man hair has been defined and also decided to have it or not. Now, I grew up, as you well know from all my videos, in the 60s and 70s. Okay. So back then, I was 60. I was a kid growing into a teenager in the 60s, 70s, okay? So, as a kid, you don't have any hair. A boy, you know, you generally don't have body hair until you reach puberty. I remember back when I couldn't wait for hair. When I started seeing hair popping out on my legs, and you know where else, I was thrilled. I'm like, yes, I'm a man. Now, why would I do that? Well, what would be my insanity to be so excited? Because back then, if you came from back then or know anything about it, hair on a man was sexy. Absolutely sexy. If you didn't have hair, you almost weren't a man. So when you started getting it, you're like, ooh, yeah. And then it didn't bother me, you know, it's just eventually, as you get into high school and stuff, it just goes where it's going. You don't care. Go on the beach. Sean Connery in 007. Okay? The movie, original movie, 007. One of the things that he was, I think, was famous for, was he had a patch of hair right here. Right? And it was supposed to be so sexy. If you ever watched like the original one, Dr. No, some of the original ones, with Sean Connery. And the other ones were good. My favorite is Sean Connery. And not because of his hair. But he used to have a patch of hair here. Okay, and he'd walk around, and I ain't going to get into the fact of the shorts that men used to wear. I mean, if you look back, they're literally what women wore later as hot pants. Okay, I don't think any man would wear that today, or if he did, that's fine. But it's not a norm now. But I personally don't care. What's pants? Okay, hair. I remember as a kid, and I had a lot of brothers, and there used to be a catalog. I think it was called Johnson Smith Catalog. Now, this was a novelty catalog in the 60s, okay? Into the early 70s, maybe. And it was like a little pamphlet novelty you know, if you know about this kind of stuff, I don't think they have it today, that you can get this catalog, right? And it'll come in the mail, and it's novelties, like a chicken net or something, or you know, funny glasses, or you know, all kinds of weird stuff. And we used to send cash in the mail to get whatever we wanted because we didn't have a lot of money. I just want to say that because we actually sent cash, and it worked. But I still remember that they sold a V patch of hair, fake hair, that would stick to your chest. It was in like the Sean Connery thing, and that was manly. People bought it. You know, I never bought one because it just didn't seem real. But that's how much hair on a man was so sexy, real. Jumping forward into the future, today you have manscaping, razors that get rid of the hair and get rid of this and get rid of the, you know, the hair down here and everywhere. So men, now the trend, and I forget how long it's been going, is no hair, very little hair. Now, in the comments, what do you think about this? Is it sexy for a man to have hair? How much hair is the sexiest? Or no hair? Now, I'm assuming most people today will say no hair. Okay, now, Gabriel, do you still have the hair there? No. Okay, I've converted. Thank you very much. Well, here's how it happened. I know this is such a stupid video. And I'm going to tell you this personal myself too, and then I'll end with that. But here's how it happened with me. It's almost like the Jerry Seinfeld episode when he saw an irregularity and he started shaving and eventually just shaved off his whole chest. And then the Kramer thing, if you ever watch Seinfeld, it is one of the funniest. That's kind of what happened to me. I was in the shower and I don't know, I was just like, thought, okay, it's a little bit too much hair. And I was an adult. It's a little bit too much hair. So I just started trimming before I got in the shower with scissors, right? And I was starting to look at it like, okay, now I started seeing my chest because it was hard to see my chest. And then I'm like, this stuff is, I started thinking it's ugly. Like, it looked like an ape. That was my own opinion. I'm not telling anybody they look like apes. Sorry, man. So long story short, don't you hate that cliche? Long story short, the long story just became short. How about the short, long story? Say it the other way. I'm losing it. Second day of summer. So in the end, I finally just shaved it off. And it was freaky. I looked down, I'm like, it was almost like, I don't know, I was naked, but I was. But it was like bare. And I never saw that before since maybe I was 7, 8, 9. Oh, I forget, but somewhere around there. And I was like, ooh. And at first it was a turnoff. This is so weird. Yeah, look at my fear of heights. Peanut butter and jelly. Yeah, Gabriel, you need a psychiatrist? Yeah. So it was weird. But then it's like people I know. So then I just kept doing it because I let it go back and I'm like, no, I don't like it. Then, you ever try as a man to shave your back? And I have a hairy back, right? That's not easy. That's what it came with the manscaped thing. It's real long and you pull it, it's long. And I started like, wow, this is cool, manscaped stuff and everything. I've been doing it. So now, no, I do, And, I asked this question before I get to my funny thing and end this video. Raise your hand. Be honest. Or put it in the comment with a hand raise. Do you, if you shave, I'm talking male and female, if you trim hair, do you trim everywhere? Okay? Everywhere. Okay? Be honest. And what I want to know is if you do, because I think a lot of people do, and I'm not going to say whether I do or not, because you don't need to know. Forgive me $10,000 and I don't want that. Do you shave in your private parts? I think most people do. I heard men do it. I know women do it. I don't have any preference either way, but it's a curious question, right? We've gone from total hair to no hair, and practically no hair. All right, funny quip. Quip, Q-U-I-P. Hair doesn't turn me off, if anybody hasn't or not. But this one time, I was so grossed out. Wipe the nose. There's a store on the Wildwood, New Jersey boardwalk called The Rock. Great store. I am praising the store. I go there all the time. I'm giving them a free plug. It has like albums. It has, new age stuff. It has jewelry. It has t-shirts, rock and roll. It's a lot of music stuff and everything. Guys there and girls are great. I go there all the time when I'm on the boardwalk. And they have a selection of things, pictures, okay? Like pictures of, like older pictures of movies, pictures of rock stars, Bowie, Madonna, bands, Pink Floyd, all that stuff. So it's like really cool. It's like all mixed in. And they're like black and white, or most of them black and white. And, it's like, it's inexpensive. But so you can go through there one time. There's nothing to do with the store, okay? It's just that they just put all kinds of things out there that, they can get. I'm going through and I'm like, oh, Janis Joplin, that's cool. Because I have a recording studio, so I put these up, looking for things, make it cool in the studio. Going through, and I saw one, but I was flipping fast, and I saw one, I went, now, you have to find this picture, okay? And then you'll know what I'm talking about. Maybe you can find it on posters.com, I don't know, okay? But I'm sure it was kind of a famous picture at the time. And it must have been the 70s. And it was a promotional picture for a male. It was Burt Reynolds, Smoking the Bandit and all those things. Now, Burt Reynolds to me had the same kind of, macho, male, strong, save the day image as Sean Connery, which I liked him and I love Smoking the Bandit. But I'll do this fast. I had to go back and I just went, oh. You gotta find this picture. And nothing against Burt Reynolds. This was at the time. This was supposed to be ultra sexy Burt Reynolds. Sex symbol. This was a promo of his sex symbol stuff, I assume. But I never saw it before, and I grew up at the time. I wasn't looking at those kind of pictures. Grew up at the time, and now I see it, right? And I know it's from there, okay? And he's laying, you ever see like a girl model laying like in a pose, and he's naked. You can't see anything because it's the 70s, right? He's naked, right? But he's in that pose, and it's so obvious. It's a movie star, sex symbol type of promotion, right? And he's like all confident, but he's kind of posed. He's naked. The amount of hair on his body it actually kind of grossed me out. It was just like, first of all, I've never seen Burt Reynolds without any clothes on. Not that I wanted to, but I never did. And here it is, and I had to look at his face like, that is Burt Reynolds, right? And I'm just looking at this thing like, who would buy this thing, right? And I'm sure people will, or would, or have. I even brought one of the guys over from the store and said, that is Burt Reynolds, right? And he was like, oh, yeah. Nothing against Burt Reynolds, but it was the whole thing I'm talking about. It was a surprise of how much hair he had. But that's not the surprise. The surprise is it was intentional sex symbol, hair on a man back then. What do you think? Hair on a man? How much hair on a man? Hair on the private parts? How much hair on the private parts? Ha ha ha. He's going insane now. Alright, we're done. Take care. What kind of razors do we use? Have a great day. Take care, guys. Love you. Cheers.